video, me and my group members would like to introduce you to inflation and unemployment that occurs in Spain.
Una mattina mi sono alzato, oh vela ciao, vela ciao, vela ciao, ciao.
Firstly, inflation can be defined as a continuous and sustained rise in the aggregate or overall price of goods and services in the economy. As for Spain, one of the inflation types is demand pull inflation. Demand pull is attributed to rise in overall demand. This is because when the economy is rising, the consumer also have more money and will spend for goods and cause an increase of price in goods. Next, unemployment happens when people in the working age group are able and eager to work but unable to find suitable jobs. As for Spain, the highest unemployment rate is during the year 1990s, as they've been dealing with the number of rises in unemployment due to the labor force, which people from the total population at the age of 16 until 65 who are either employed or unemployed but seeking for works. Spain is a country on Europe's Iberian Peninsula, includes with 17 autonomous regions with diversity geography and cultures. The total population of Spain within the year of 2019 are 47,076,781 natives, including of 23,127,681, which 49% of male, and 23,949,100, which 51% of female. That makes the expansion population of Spain is increasing from 2018. Apart from that, the national income for Spain during the previous year in 2018 was 1.42 trillion euro. Compared to now in 2019, the amount was 1.39 trillion euro, which the income value have decreased with a total of 1.98%. Besides that, service sector, which is tourism, is one of the main sectors that contributes in national income, which about 67.9%. Meanwhile, industrial sector also contributes around 20.2% of gross domestic product, as the sector controlled by textiles, industrial food processing, iron and steel, while agriculture contribute with 2.7% and 4% of workers, as Spain was the largest producer for olive oil and wine. Moreover, Spain also encountered an increasing number of national debt, which the amount was 1,330,928 million euro during the third quarter of 2019, while the amount of current debt was 1,309,439 million euro, including 17,382 million euro in the third quarter of 2020.
According to the World Bank data, the highest rate in Spain is in 1982 with a rate of 13.6%. The reason of inflation that occurs because of demand pull in public spending on education. This is because of the biggest population in Spain who were having a highly education. Next, in 1982, the socialist government tightens the entrance requirement for Spain State University and expels students who fail to reach result in the required standard. Moreover, the number of university students has increased to 1.5 million, and it leads to public spending for education higher because they do not have to pay their education. Apart from that, the number of public university has risen from 29 to 48. Due to the failure rate was continued high, the government needs to support their education until they graduate. Finally, the utilization of general prices for a raise of civil servant wages, pension, and unemployment benefits has increased due to the large number of instructors needed in the University of Spain. Since the socialist government has controlled their country, Spain used fiscal policy to decrease government expenditure by requiring all secondary students to pass an exam before continuing study in university. Next, students who age 14 years old has to choose between pre-university or vocational training. Moreover, the socialist government spends more tax to decrease aggregate demand, and it reduced their budget deficit around USD 10 billion. Lastly, to make people continue to work longer in Spain, the government cut 4.5% of pension expenditure.
From the duration 1980 until 2000, the highest unemployment rate occurred in 1994 with the percentage of 24.2%. Spain was facing the highest unemployment in its country because of seasonal in tourism. The tourist workers are temporarily unemployed during off-peak periods. Another reason for unemployment in 1994 is the main cause that has been an industrial crisis which has led to deindustrialization. Next, Spain has changed their technology in advance to parallel with other developed countries. This has led to no manpower needed in producing output. Furthermore, the unemployment rate remains high because unemployed people do not have knowledge and skills. Finally, Spain could not pay the right salaries due to the imperfection of the labor force. To produce more demand among tourists during off-season, Spain Tourism Institute using slogan "Everything Under Sun" to show the diversity of attraction and maintain the image of Spain as a sunshine destination. They also took action promote itself in the Japan market. Furthermore, due to industrial crisis, the government had implemented welfare measures through a city growth policy to rebuild and revitalize cities affected by deindustrialization. Moreover, Spanish government provided education and training to develop skills and knowledge with the introduction of newer technologies. Finally, to overcome the imperfection of the labor force, economy gave the bonus and compensatory time for those who are committed work until 40 hours per week.
On 14 March 2020, Spain was announced as lockdown by the Spain government to prevent the spread of the virus. As of Spain recorded the most cases and deaths in the country. The coronavirus had a huge impact on all aspects of life, including the effects to the economy. The Ministry of Agriculture carried out the Food Price Observatory, which reported that mandarins are the most inflationary food, with retail prices rising by 45.7%, while oranges rising by 17.4%. Similarly to the other goods, prices increased more than 10% between February and March, as well as animal goods with strong demand during the first week of disaster, like chicken increased 2.46% and pork has increased 6.43%. Last but not least, the price of masks has increased 3 to 4 times from the regular price, and the price of gloves has risen to double the average price. Other suppliers that have stocks of personal protection kit also rising prices up to 20%. In Spain, every March in a year is annual Easter holidays and the beginning of tourist season, so that service and tourist sectors will take workers to work in their companies. In the tourism sector, there were 355,000 people lost their job. Lastly, the services sector is also affected with an increase of 206,061 unemployed people because the sectors were ordered to temporarily close their doors. This will lead to their business bankruptcy. Furthermore, people who have their own restaurants or cafe brands with 22,000 employees is also affected because they will not be able to work until the economy is established.
Due to this situation, the Spanish government has decided to give more than £200 billion worth of measure at providing a much-needed stimulus to the economy. On March 17, the Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has announced to give £200 billion stimulus package in addition to the £14 billion stimulus package, which is total 20% of gross domestic product in effort to help the folk health and the economy. £117 billion of which this stimulus package come from public sector. The package include a 3-month moratorium on mortgage payment for individual. Up to £36 billion from this stimulus package will be used for health services, provide more in unemployment benefits and give basic income to the folk. Other than that, up to £100 billion government guarantees have been extended out by the Spanish government, and this stimulus package will be used to guarantee businesses, enterprises and self-employed. For farmers, the Spanish government gives £2 billion stimulus package for them to continue their sector to extend their maturity in loans. Besides that, the Spanish government also support ICO, which is the official credit institution for Spain, with give £10 billion stimulus package. This is also the way for the tourism sector to get £400 million in credit line through ICO. In addition, for the automotive industry, the Spanish government include £4.2 billion auto industry stimulus package to them to continue their sector, as the car manufacturing sector is the second biggest sector in Europe. However, with the stimulus package will eventually increase the national debt. With the fiscal stimulus measure will put pressure on the deficit and public debt this year, which could increase more than 5% and 105% in GDP in 2020.
Firstly, the normal rate inflation is supposedly at 4%. When the rate is higher than 4%, it shows that the cost of living has increased and causes lower purchasing power. For example, in 1982, Spain was spending huge amounts on education to private and public universities. So, the government implemented fiscal policy by decrease in government expenditure. Secondly, following the unemployment rate in Spain in 1994, Spain was facing the highest unemployment rate in its country because of the seasonal unemployment. So, the government provided initiative for workers in tourism sector. Besides that, unemployment happened because of industrial crisis. The government solved the problem by providing innovation and welfare. Apart from that, although economics in Spain is an increase in growth rate, it is not guaranteed that the unemployment rate will be reduced. To prevent it, Spain countries must build strong strategies in order to provide sufficient jobs for their citizens for better rates of employment in the future.